Okay, so we are live, trying the old Facebook Live thing again. The name of this presentation, ooh, a little echo there, that was odd, listening to myself. The name of this presentation is 5 Deadly Financial Aid Mistakes and Scholarship Mistakes that you need to avoid like the Black Plague. Well, I'm sort of editorializing a little bit. This is College Talk Tuesday, the Wednesday edition, the inadvertent Wednesday edition, because yesterday when I went live, I don't know what happened. I think my son, I'm going to blame him, I think he and I together managed to screw up getting this thing stuck on Facebook. So this is a rebroadcast of yesterday. So let's get right into today's topic, the deadliest mistakes to avoid. And mistake number one, we're going to cover 5 of the most common mistakes that can sabotage your eligibility, the money that you should otherwise have deserved, and the money that you need. That's the whole point. If you avoid these mistakes, you'll get more money. And my disclaimer to prove that I am a recovering attorney, it's just a summary. I had to leave a lot of stuff out, and you can't believe everything on Facebook. Sorry for that. All right, mistake number 1 is thinking that you can't qualify for any type of financial aid. Now, the reason this is a big mistake is because many families just rule themselves out reflexively without really understanding how the rules work. So let me give you some stats. Let me lay a few numbers on you. 48.6%. That is the average discount by every college in the country, according to the National Association of Collegiate Business Officers, NACUBO. And what that indicates is that sticker prices may be up here, but the actual price that you pay may not be anywhere close, maybe almost half off. So that's really one of the main, most surprising statistics. The second one is that families that earn 6-figure incomes, or in other words, families that are in the top 25%, top quartile of earnings, they are the one category that receives the lion's share of aid, merit and need-based aid. So most aid, in other words, is being given to families who make 6-figure incomes, who normally think they can't possibly qualify for anything. I hear this all the time on my webinars and in my live presentations and so forth. So understand that just because you earn 6 figures doesn't mean you're going to not qualify for anything. The third statistic is that there's 2 categories of people at any given school. There's the people who pay full price, and then there's the other category who get subsidized. It's 25-75. 25% are in the sucker pile. So paying full price is only a choice. It is not an obligation. You don't have to pay full price. So much of this process of getting scholarships and figuring out how to pay wholesale for college revolves around the list of schools that you apply to. Some schools are a lot more generous than others. Some are not generous at all. They're very stingy. Totally up to you to come up with your school list strategically. Okay, let's move along. Mistake number 2 is blowing financial aid deadlines. Now, this is something that I talk about over and over again. It's until I'm blue in the face. I feel like I say a lot of the same stuff over and over again, but nothing's more maddening than telling people you have to look at your deadlines to file financial aid forms. Not only the deadlines to file your applications for admission. So yesterday, before I was cut off or I did something to screw up my post, I was talking about a client of mine who had done exactly this. So I got an email from her this morning with, unfortunately, some very bad news. Here's the story. Her son had been recruited to play a sport at a liberal arts college on the East Coast. And the coach had kind of walked them through the whole process as far as my client was concerned. And the kid applied early, which was December 1st. Now, unbeknownst to my client, who didn't retain us until February, December 1st was also the priority financial aid deadline for one of the forms that this college required, the CSS profile. A little sidebar here, you have to not only look at the deadlines for every school, but you also have to look up what forms each school requires, what financial aid forms. Some require only the FAFSA, the free application for federal student aid. Some require that plus the CSS profile, and some have their own forms. So it's up to you, no one else, not your guidance counselor, not your coach who's recruiting you or whomever to look all this stuff up. Anyway, what ended up happening was our client filed late inadvertently. She didn't know this at the time. We didn't really think about this at the time because we didn't have all the facts. And what ended up happening was she got a lousy financial aid award. She got something like $2,000, of federal money, which acknowledged that she had a very low income and a correspondingly low EFC, or estimated family contribution, which is the main terminology that is or the main factor in determining your aid eligibility. But what ended up happening was the school said, listen, you were late, you did two things wrong. You missed a deadline, number one, and number two, you on your common application to get into this school, you indicated that you were not applying for need-based financial aid, which I just learned about this morning, actually. So those are two things. One is just blowing a deadline, but number two is indicating, either by mistake or perhaps you're trying to sneak one by them because you think perhaps if you say that you don't need money, you're improving your chances of getting in, which, is true in many cases, to be fair. Then the financial aid office said to my client, we think you're trying to, pull one over on us. So no, we can't give you any money because we ran out. Our budget is severely strained. You are invited to apply next year. Actually, you're invited to apply on time next year, is what the little sort of strict, judgy, purse lip type of email said. So know your deadlines, because if you miss a deadline, the school could hang its hat on the fact that you blew a deadline and say, sorry, we gave out all your money. Okay, all of our money, sorry. Mistake number 3 is saving in the wrong places. So what do I mean by wrong places? Well, I mean a few things that you have to understand conceptually. So money in general, money saved in a child's name is much worse, is penalized much more severely, meaning your eligibility is reduced if you, as opposed to if you save money in your name as a parent. The financial aid rules are screwy, and there's no place that's more screwy than the parts that govern how savings accounts are treated, because this is where you are penalized for doing the right thing, for putting money away at the advice of your accountants or your parents or your financial guy, or you name it. That actually can sabotage your eligibility for financial aid when it comes time to apply for college 15, 16 years later, before you started saving for college. So what can you do? Well, in some cases, it makes sense to shift money from a bad place into a good place. So let's run through a few just basics about this. This is, again, I'm starting to twitch because this is only an overview. This is not specific advice. I have to keep saying that. Okay. If I don't say it aloud, I'm just know that I'm saying it in my head. So money in a child's name penalizes you at 20 or 25%. Money saved in a parent's name penalizes you at 5 or 5.64%. In other words, it's like 400% more of a penalty to save in a kid's name than a parent's name. So if you had $100,000 saved away in your child's name, your eligibility for aid for that year would be reduced by $20,000 or $25,000. Either 20 or 25% is the penalty that the financial aid formulas and the financial aid officers will assess you for having money saved in your kid's name. Okay, you with me? Is your jaw dropping? That same amount of money, however, saved in your name as a parent will penalize you only $5,000 or $5,640 because the penalty is much less severe. So some stuff counts against you more than others. Some stuff doesn't count against you at all because there are exemptions. And there's 4 exemptions in the financial aid formulas, and the 2 most popular ones that I see are your retirement accounts and insurance products, meaning with insurance with cash value. There's another one, insurance annuity-based products. Now, I'm not a financial advisor. I can't talk about specific products or sell them or anything like that. That's not my gig. But what I can tell you is that I know many financial advisors. I have a couple of relationships with very good ones, and where you can get into trouble with, if you're going to run out after shutting down this video and start moving money around, where you can run into trouble is a couple of areas. One is not understanding what you're putting your money into, not understanding that, if I buy this product that someone's recommending to me, you're not asking the questions like, well, how can I get my money out? How long do I have to hold it there? What are the fees? What are the penalties? That's a big deal. Another problem that can bite you on the tush is if you were to not understand the penalties for moving money out of the offending types of savings accounts. So you have to understand not only the benefits, the savings in your eligibility, but also the negative consequences that in some cases, in many cases actually, can outweigh those benefits. So not everyone is going to benefit from this type of strategy. Of course, if you have questions about this, just drop me a note here on Facebook, and I'm happy to try to help you out with that. Okay, so that is, what was that? That was mistake number 3. I'm now going to move on to mistake number 4, which is assuming that your financial aid offer, your award, is the final offer. So what I mean by that is colleges, even though I know they are nonprofit institutions of higher education, they're in business. That's the first thing you have to understand. Colleges are businesses. Just because they don't pay taxes on their earnings doesn't mean they are not businesses. Look at the expenses they pay out. Look at the gymnasiums where kids work out, or they're like health clubs. Gymnasium is a very antiquated word. Look at where they eat. It's not mystery meat and bug juice, right? It's all sorts of. Whoops, I'm getting a low. Ooh, I gotta put on my power here. All right, hold on a second. Let me just transition back to my slide as I reattach my power cord. So the other thing you need to realize is not just that colleges are in business, but you are in business yourself, whether you realize it or not. This is a business transaction. Going to college is a business transaction, even if you don't understand that. Even if you're not ready for it, by the way, the college process happens, and it's a business. So you better acknowledge that you're in business for yourself. So colleges, because they are businesses, do not always give their highest and best offers, and that's why we're able, I don't know if you're going to be able to see these, but that's why we're able to get results, negotiating results. This is one from earlier this year. A client of ours at Fordham was offered $5,800 initially, and then we were able to increase that to $20,000 in cash. This is a family at Muhlenberg College who was offered $27,700, and then we negotiated it up to $37,865, about $10,000 in change increase. This is from a few years ago. USC, they offered initially $23,518, and we were able to negotiate that up by $30,000 to $53,000 in change. I think you're getting the point. Harvard went from a kid got into Harvard and Yale actually, and we were able to increase Harvard's initial offer of Yale's initial offer of zero up to close to $40,000. And Emory from zero and free money to $38,579. Here's a nice note from a client who got an extra $13,000 from a small school in Austin, Texas. So you get the again, you get the point. Don't always accept the initial offer, and frankly, if I could give you one tip, it helps as you are finalizing your college list. It helps to have other colleges on there chosen strategically that might give you more money, so then you can then use that offer against your A-list school. So sometimes it's pretty easy to figure out which schools compete with each other. I mentioned Harvard and Yale; they're in the same conference, the Ivy League, and so forth. Sometimes it's not so easy when colleges, they may compete in certain departments. So that I had thrown up an offer from USC. The client of ours who was going to USC was a communications major, and we chose a couple of schools on the East Coast that also were very strong in communications to solicit better offers and use those off against her top choice school of USC. I was just talking to a client the other day who had questioned one of the choices of schools that I had made. I'd chosen University of Dayton. And my client had said, well, we're Jewish and that's a Catholic university. My son's not interested in going to any school that's, affiliated religiously somehow. And my response was, yeah, I'm not either. This is just chosen for strategy purposes because that may actually be one of the reasons why you get a higher offer from a Catholic school, in your particular department because you're Jewish. So anyway, think about this strategically. That's really my point. All right. Mistake number 5 is ignoring published graduation rates. Now, this may be the biggest, most overlooked mistake that I think people make. It takes a really long time to get out of college. If you were to guess what percent of kids get out in 4 years? I'm not sure you'd be able to guess that because I ask that at every public presentation that I do. Facebook is no different. It's no different. The average the number of kids who get out in 4 years, 39%. Actually, it might even be lower at this point. That's the last time I looked it up. Why? Why does it take so long to get out of college? Is it because kids are partying too much? Is it because kids are changing majors? Is it because they run out of money? Certainly, those are all things that contribute, but the main culprit is none of those. The main culprit is that kids can't get the classes they need to fulfill their major. So if you are a business major and you are taking, you need to take accounting 101 or something, you are lower in priority after the seniors, the juniors, and so forth. You may not get the class that you need to fulfill your major. That's the sad truth. That's the dirty little secret. The rest of the story is that private colleges tend, not always, but they tend to do a better job, a faster job at getting kids out in 4 years, whereas state schools, the over-enrollment problem has led to the inability to get the classes that you need. Frankly, many tenured professors, they decide, once they have tenure, they're only going to teach these classes, every other year, Wednesdays at 11. If that doesn't fit your schedule, you're out of luck. So there's a few factors that lead to that, but understand that graduation rates are part of this problem. Just to round out the discussion here before we wrap up, spending an extra year or two in college will add to the bill. So it might be an extra, $30, $40, $50, or $60,000 per year. That's a lot of money, but that's not the whole story because there's an opportunity cost. You're not working in that extra year or extra two. Who knows? Maybe you'd be starting work at $40,000 a year. So if you add those two things together, the actual hard cost versus the opportunity cost, you're close to $100,000 or $200,000 of a problem because you're ignoring graduation rates. So, all right, that's my comment on that. Let me continue here. Oh, there's a bonus mistake: starting too late in the process. It doesn't mean starting too late in the day. Okay, that was lame. It means starting too late in the process. So if you have a sophomore, you may think, this is too early. We don't even know, how my kid's going to test on the SAT or the ACT or whatever. If you were to rip yourself away from this video, this very engaging video, which I know is near impossible, and you were to speak to a friend of yours who had older kids who went through this process, and you were to say, hey, buddy, when I'm heading into college, the next couple of years, when do you think I should get serious about my college financial planning or my college planning? Because it could be about picking schools and getting in all that stuff. Almost invariably, they will say, I wish I had started a lot earlier than I did. You can't be too early. Freshman year of high school. Now, most kids aren't ready in freshman year, but that doesn't mean that you can't start getting serious about the college planning process. Now, another change, I guess I had mentioned deadlines earlier in one of the mistakes. So there's really two changes that just were effectuated at the end of 2015, I believe September, by the Department of Education regarding the FAFSA, the main financial aid form, Free Application for Federal Student Aid, FAFSA. Not FAFSA, a lot of people call it that. They're just morons. It's FAFSA. So one of the changes is that it's now available in October. It used to not become available till January of senior year. It is now available of October of senior year. Just to be clear, it's available in October. It's not the deadline. It's just available in October. That doesn't mean you have to get it in then, but you want to finish it pretty quickly. The other change that I was just about to mention is that now FAFSA looks at what the Department of Education refers to as the prior year, meaning 2 years back. So if you have someone who's graduating 2017, the tax return that FAFSA will require, that information is from 2015, 2 years before. So if you have someone who's a sophomore in 2018, you're looking at this year's information, 2016. So you're not too early at all. That's really the message here, is that you can't be too early in this process. Now, is it too late if you have a rising senior? It may or may not be, because if you were to move some money around to improve your eligibility, again, that helps some people, not everyone, but if you were to pull something like that off, it wouldn't matter because you can do that at the last minute because the forms have to be accurate as of the date you're filed. But that's savings information. So income information, just hit my mic, sorry. Income information is from 2 years prior, but savings, your child savings and whatever, that information is has to be accurate when you file. Now, I realize that there's a whole lot more. I told you this was just a summary and so forth. I did my best to cover a whole lot. If you have more questions, you can certainly reach out to us on our website, which is collegeplanningguru.com. I specifically left out stuff like information about the 529 because of time constraints. I did not talk at all about getting in or any type of admission stuff, how to choose colleges or anything like that. I want to point out to you that tonight this is now Wednesday night. It's College Talk Tuesday, Wednesday edition, and we are doing a live show where I am grilling 2 former admissions officers from the University of Chicago about what exactly needs to go on the college essay. Don't have any plans to do a replay. I'm trying to get their permission to do that because they may not give it because they're still in touch with a lot of their former colleagues. But if you can make it at 7:30 tonight, you can go to cs4l.tv, as in College Success 4 Less, cs4l.tv. You can also go to the website that I mentioned, collegeplanningguru.com, and you can get all sorts of other information, including downloading my book for free. All sorts of fun stuff is available for you. If you found this helpful, please do me a favor. Please like this page because that'll allow you to be notified when I go live sometime in the future. In general, College Talk Tuesday is supposed to be Tuesdays at 12. What I've decided to do, what I've committed to doing, and sort of strong-armed Pearl, my wife, into doing, is we're going to start doing some more impromptu things. Not a lot, but maybe one extra time per week, maybe 2. So if you like the page, then you'll receive notices of any time that we start broadcasting. And please share this with any friends that you think could benefit from this information. I would really appreciate it. If you have any questions about what I talked about, leave them in the comments below. And otherwise, check out my site, collegeplanningguru.com. Download the book. Have fun. Thanks for watching. Appreciate your time and your attention. This is Andy Lockwood signing off for College Talk Tuesday. Bye-bye.